Hi guys, it's Ben back with another video. And today I want to break down exactly how you can become a high ticket closer in 2025 as a complete beginner. I've personally gone from 0 to 15K per month as a high ticket closer in the past 2 years, living from countries like Bali, Montenegro, Germany, Spain, working 4, 5, maybe 6 hours a day, making money from my laptop as I do so. Oh, and most importantly, making over 5 figures a month while I do it. I've also trained and coached many beginners in this space myself. I've worked with guys like Jed, who have gone from selling doors in corporate sales to transitioning into high ticket sales and making $500 commission within his first month of selling, to a point now where he is about to quit his job and transition. I've also worked with guys like Rory, who in his second month in the high ticket sales space, starting as a complete beginner, made $5,000. So I've been there, I've done it, I've walked the walk, I've got the commission checks to prove it. So I know what I'm talking about. And the most important thing is, if I can do it, if Jed can do it, if Rory can do it, there's absolutely no reason why you can't do it either. So hang around for the video and I will show you exactly how you can do the same as Jed, me and Rory in the shortest time frame possible. So first things first, let's break down exactly what a high ticket closer is. So a high ticket closer is essentially just a fancy way of saying that you're an online sales rep. The biggest misconception that I see beginners coming into this space, they believe that you have to start your own business to be a high ticket closer. That is wrong. You do not start your own business. As a closer, you work with already established businesses in the e-learning space, and essentially you piggyback off their success to make money off them. So these e-learning companies, they're mindset coaches, they're fitness coaches, they're marketing agencies, they're e-com coaches. There's so many different companies that are selling high ticket programs. As a closer, you want to be working on an opportunity or an offer that is making at least 100K a month, because that then puts you in the best position to make solid commissions from this business. So why do these business owners actually hire people like you and I to work for them? Well, look, these business owners are extremely busy, right? They don't have time to be on sales calls all day. They're too busy fulfilling on the current clients that they already have. They're filming ads, they're doing content, right? They don't have time to be taking the sales calls, which is where people like you and I come in and do that for them. So as a closer, your job is to take sales calls with leads who have been booked in on your calendar. These leads are already warm. They've already opted in some way, whether they've seen an advertisement for the business that you're working for. Maybe they've spoken with someone on the team through the DMs. They've shown an interest, right? Which has then led to them being booked on your calendar. Then your job from there is to then close this client, aka get them to pay to join the program on that sales call, preferably. Prices of these high ticket programs typically range from $2,000 all the way up to $30,000 plus. So if you're selling a $5,000 program, then every time you close a deal, typically you'll get 10% commission. So you'll make $500 for that sale. So essentially, you close the deal, you get the commission. That is how you make your money as a closer. Now you may be thinking, Ben, what the fuck is the difference between this and me staying in my corporate sales job or me selling cars? Like, it doesn't really sound like there's a big difference here. So let me break down exactly the key difference between high ticket sales compared to your typical sort of sales job. So as a high ticket closer, firstly, you're fully remote. So you can work from anywhere in the world. You can work from home in the UK. You can go traveling. You don't have holiday, right? You can work from wherever you want as long as you can clock in and have a Wi-Fi connection with a laptop. So that's benefit one. Number two is that you aren't prospecting. You're not cold calling. You're not prospecting. You're not finding your own leads, lead sourcing. All of that's done for you. These leads are booked into your calendar by someone else on the team, so you don't need to worry about any of the back end stuff. Time-wise, there's no pointless meetings, right? You're not going to be dragged into office meetings, pointless Google Meets, right? You show up, you take your sales calls, you make commission, you get paid. That is it. These online business owners, they're not here to mess around. They don't want to waste your time, right? So as long as you show up and you close the calls, then you will be paid, right? There's no extra bullshit that goes alongside it. And the big one and the main benefit is there is no capped commissions. So the better you are as a sales rep, the more money you will make. The more deals you close, the more money you make. There's no commission cap. There's no ceiling to what you can make, which is the main benefit of this industry and working within it. And the biggest mistake that I see with guys who are actually coming into this online space is that they believe that they have to start a business in order to actually begin to make money online. when that genuinely couldn't be further from the truth. And I really, really wouldn't recommend that you do that. I myself have done Amazon FBA. I've poured thousands of pounds into a product. I've also tried drop shipping where I ordered hydrogen water bottles from China. Also completely failed. So I'm telling you, this business model is the best way to have an into the online space. The way I like to think about it is this: trying to start your own business as a beginner is like trying to build a plane whilst you're flying it. You're not only trying to stay in the air, as in make money, but you're also trying to figure out how the wings work, which is like the fulfillment side of the business, how the engine works, which is the advertisement, how the landing is going to work, which is bringing in new clients. Do you see what I mean? It's extremely hard to figure out all these different things about the plane, similar as it is if you just go into starting a business with no experience, which is why most people crash this plane before they've even taken off. Whilst high ticket sales is like becoming a top tier pilot, right? It's like stepping into a private jet, and all you need to focus on is flying that plane. All you need to focus on is becoming the best pilot that you possibly can. And everything else is taken care of, right? The plane's already built. It's high quality. The passengers are in the back. All you need to do is focus on flying that plane and making it the best journey possible. And every time that you get these customers in this private jet to their destination, you get paid for your work that you've done. So essentially, all of your focus is going into one thing. Instead of spreading yourself thin, trying to figure out all these different things that you have no idea on, you're focusing on one, and you're becoming an absolute expert at that one thing. So next up is, how do we actually become this top tier pilot? Before you actually step into the cockpit, you need to understand how it works. You need to understand how to fly this plane, right? Yes, it's not going to be as much as building it, but you still need to understand how to fly it. You need to master one skill, which is sales. Many beginners make the mistake of trying to land a job in high ticket sales as quickly as possible, and they neglect learning the skill of sales. The problem with that is, yes, you may get lucky, you may land a gig, you may land an interview and get the job, but then you're screwed, because sales is it's a performance game, right? So if you don't do well, then you will get fired. So again, it's like stepping into the cockpit, having no idea what you're doing. You're going to take the plane off, and then it's going to crash and burn. Your reputation is going to be tarnished, and yeah, you're not going to be in a good position. So instead of focusing all of your time on the job, you need to actually get good at the skill first. So how do you do this? I mean, you can read some books. There's some good sales books online. Grant Cardone's book's meant to be really good. How to Win Friends and Influence People is also meant to be a really, really good book. Transparently, I've never read either of these books, but I've just heard that they're really good. So if you want some free stuff, then I'd go down that route. You can work with a mentor, which is exactly what I did, which just sped up the whole process for me. Instead of reading the books, which in my view is basically procrastinating, I'd rather just pay someone to help me get to the destination quicker. But in all honesty, there is a lot of really, really good free content on YouTube. So just search high ticket sales. You can watch sales calls, get a really good understanding for it. You don't have to dive in with a mentor straight away. But don't make the mistake that many beginners do, where they just sit in their bed watching high ticket sales YouTube videos for hours on end, thinking that it's all going into their brain, when in reality it's not, right? That's just a form of procrastination. Again, think of it like driving a car. You don't learn to drive a car by reading a manual with your driving instructor, right? You learn by getting behind the wheel, by fucking up, by being shit to begin with. But then each time you step behind that wheel, you get better, you begin to understand it, you begin to know your way around the car. And it is exactly the same with high ticket sales. And what that actually looks like is doing role plays. So find friends, family, do mock calls, write out a script that you might find from YouTube, begin to practice the sales calls. As if you're talking to a prospect, you'll begin to mess up, get your prospect to start throwing objections at you, and you'll begin to understand, you'll begin to learn quickly what you need to say when someone says this, what you need to do if someone says that, right? And you begin to get better and better. Again, realize that the first few times you're going to be shit, but that's okay, right? You need to be shit in order to begin to learn to then get better. Right. So now you're in a position where your skill set's at a decent level. It's now time to start looking for your first online sales gig, your first online sales job. First things first is get on Facebook. Facebook is a sales hub, right? So many people in the high ticket sales space are on Facebook. So go on someone's account or profile like myself, look at who I follow, begin to follow all these people, right? Begin to familiarize yourself with who's in the space, who's posting content. Then what you want to do is you want to start liking, commenting, posting about yourself, what you're doing, role plays that you're doing, objections that you've overcome, liking and commenting, leaving value on people's posts so that people around you begin to know who you are, right? Your name begins to start being thrown around a little bit within the space. This is essentially a way of networking, but don't make the mistake of asking for things, right? Just give as much value as possible, because this whole networking game is a long-term plan, right? This isn't going to get us results straight away. Again, a big mistake I see is a lot of guys focus solely on the networking and they sit back and it's a passive aggressive way of saying, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to wait for an opportunity to land in my lap. And I'm telling you, that's not what you want to do. I've spoken with hundreds of people who have been in this space, and networking isn't going to get you your first job. It's a long-term play. You're planting the seeds for later on in your journey. So what we want to do instead, alongside the networking, is begin to find business owners. So what we want to do, we want to go onto places like Instagram. We want to be looking at business owners. It's pretty easy to tell who runs an info product business or who sells a program or a course. A lot of the time, they've got stuff in their bio saying, DM me high ticket sales for free training, DM me agency for more information, right? So these guys sell a program, which is great because we want to be working on teams like they have to make us money. So what we want to do is we want to click on these guys' profile. We want to do some research on them. We want to look at the business owner, watch some YouTube videos, see what they're about, look at the testimonials. What do they stand for? What's their business like? We want to take some notes. Once we've taken those notes, we then want to construct a video, right? We want to film ourselves talking about them, talking about their business, what we like about it, why we feel like we'd be a good fit for their program, talking about testimonials of past clients that they've worked with. The more effort that you put into this, the bigger the reward you're going to get. Because you need to think of it as a business owner. Think of it from their point of view, right? And I'm a business owner myself. So if someone messaged me a video and they were talking about my business, testimonials my clients have got, what their values, what they stand for, how they align with me, how they're looking for an opportunity. If they put in a lot of effort into this research, subconsciously, I'm going to want to give them the time of day, because in my head, I'm thinking, right, this guy or this girl, they've put in a lot of effort. You know what? Fair play to them. I'm going to reply. I'm going to entertain this idea, right? So that's one thing. Secondly, it also makes the business owner think, shit, this guy, let's call him Jack. This guy, Jack, has just put in this much effort to send me a Loom video. And I'm thinking about the sales team that I have. I don't have a sales team, but let's just say I did, right? I'm thinking about the sales team I've got. I'm thinking, right, Olivia, Ben, and Tom, my sales reps, they're not doing very well at the moment. You know, Tom's slacking. Tom hasn't closed the deal in the past 5 days. His close rate's below 20%. I could have someone like Jack in my sales team, Jack, who's put in the effort of going out of his way to find information on me, research me, and send me that video, right? Subconsciously, as a business owner, I'm going to think, right, this guy could fit into my team. And that's exactly what we want these business owners to be thinking by doing this method. So we leave a good impression. We've got the potential to get an interview and get hired. But please, please, please do not put in no effort into this strategy. If you just send a business owner a message just saying, hey, mate, you looking for a closer? You're never going to get a reply, ever. You have to put in the effort. If you put in the effort, you will be rewarded. If you put in a lack of effort, you can send thousands of messages. You will never, ever get an opportunity from it. And the best thing about this method is that even if they're not hiring you at the time, the business owner is going to see what you're like as a person and they're going to remember you. So later on, when one of those 3 sales reps eventually fucks up and gets fired, guess who he's coming to first? He's going to come to the guy who's put in the effort to send him a personalized video a few weeks back. And then you have the potential to get a job. And that's exactly what happened with me. I used this exact same method when I first got into the space. I sent a Loom video to a guy called Will, who ran his own e-commerce training company. At first, he thanked me for the video. He said it was really, really good, but they weren't hiring any reps. A month later, he sent me a message. He said, hey, mate, we're hiring reps now. Are you interested? Let's jump on an interview. Jumped on the interview, landed the job. 3 months later, I'd made £5,000 in a single month from this job. All because I put in the effort to send him a personalized video. which is why I'm such a big advocate for this method and this strategy. I'd also recommend that you join as many Facebook groups as possible. There's loads of job opportunities that are posted within these groups. You do need to be careful because there are lots of dodgy opportunities. There's lots of people who are just trying to sell you something. But in the same breath, it's very low leverage to join these groups. So there's no harm in doing it. Now, the next job is to get on these interviews and absolutely smash it out the park. And it's going to be pretty easy for the business owner to know whether you're a good salesman or not based off the interview. Because essentially, you're selling yourself on this interview on why you should be working for their business. You can massively increase your chances of getting a role from an interview by doing a shit ton of research on the business and the business owner before you jump on the interview. Again, it just shows that you're putting in extra effort. It shows you're going the extra mile, which is so essential as a sales rep. That's a key characteristic, is someone who's willing to go the extra mile. So again, as a business owner, they're going to lap this up. They're going to absolutely love it. And a quick top tip from me, at the end of the interview, the business owner will ask you if you have any questions. Make sure you ask loads of questions. And the final question you should ask is this, and this is absolute source, so remember it. Say to them this: is there anything that we've gone over today that makes you feel like I wouldn't excel within this role within your company? If you ask that question, I promise you, you'll do so well, because you're basically saying to them, tell me the objections. What objections do you have for me working for your business? It's essentially, again, you're closing them on you becoming as part of their sales team. So definitely do it. I definitely recommend it. Business owners love it. Now, look, it's all well and good you getting on the interview and landing the job, but you need to make sure that the offer you're going to be working on is actually going to be worth your time, right? You don't want to be working for a marketing agency with little Joey, 16-year-old bloke who bought Iman Gadzhi's course and has 0 clients and has just hired a closer because he thinks it's cool. Right? Because you're not going to make any money if you're on these offers. You want to avoid newbies, right? Because you're not going to make any money. If the business is making $2,000 a month, then the max you're going to make is $200. Because remember, you get 10% commission. So you want to avoid newbie offers, which is why it's important to vet offers out before you accept a role on them. So when I say it's important to ask questions at the end of the interview, it really is. You need to ask how much the revenue the business is making, how many closers are on the team, what's the top closer making, how much are they spending on ads, right? All of these questions are really important because it gives you an idea, right? Okay, if they're not spending any money on ads, then they can't be doing that well, which means I'm probably not going to make that much money. Whilst on the other hand, if they're spending 30, 40, 50K a month on ads, their top closers doing 20K a month, you're fucking laughing, right? You're in a really, really good position now to accept this offer and make really good money. But again, poker face, don't want to give it away. Don't want to get too excited if they tell you that the top closer is making 20K a month, right? You want to be a stone cold killer. That's really, really important. And the final thing is you need to ask yourself the question, would I buy this program myself? Would I sell this program to my sister? Would I sell it to my aunt, right? If you need to believe in the product. If you don't, and you feel like, no, I wouldn't sell this to my sister, then you shouldn't work for the company. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to sell this program to other people. And if you don't believe in it yourself, then how do you expect yourself to be able to get other people to buy from you? Right. So make sure you believe in the product, make sure you believe in the offer. And it's pretty easy to know. You look at testimonials, you see if other people are doing well. But yeah, you don't want to be selling a scam offer because trust me, you just won't like it. It's just not nice. So that, guys, is how you can go from being a complete beginner to making your first commission check within high ticket sales in 2025. From finding a role to landing a role to interviews and to developing your skill set. Again, the most important thing and the advice I give to you is focus on your skill set because that's something that will never, ever go. Job opportunities will come and go, but your skill set will remain. So make sure you put a lot of effort and attention into that. If you found that useful, then subscribe to my channel, click on it, watch my other sales and mindset content. And lastly, if you want to apply to work one-on-one with me to speed this whole process up, I'm going to leave a link in the description to a video and then a link to them booking a call with me. So feel free to check that out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.